thrilled to see that banner go up. Thrilled to have the advantage. Samuelson over Williams, but then good length on the perimeter on Caitlin. That is a tough pass.
Afraid to gamble. They have tremendous.
Then Minnesota. And underneath to Boston. Not Australia, pardon me.
Cards of Caitlin McBride.
Clark takes it right.
There is Courtney Williams again.
We're very impressed with the chemistry on this Lynx team. That's nice.
But the team doesn't give up a layup on that. Hey, that's something that the Fever have done really well in the month of July. But Atlanta's in the steal category.
And I 100% agree with you with that to get by Cortland. And
Boston waits for this screen by Caitlin Clark and then slips with that high hands from that category with 45.5 points in the paint.
It's only about 58% from the free throw line. We got the first. We got the Caitlin Clark crowd. The Lynx fans are screaming. Beautiful. What a bounce.
Out of the way. Courtney Williams with the bounce pass.
From the line this season. Or Chicago, Vegas on ESPN All-Star Friday night. 9's first year out of Iowa State. Going back to her
talent, but it's the accountability that makes them better.
And I like what she said as Mitchell talked about that first and foremost is what she wanted to see improved. Smith. Stops a 7-0 Fever run.
Well, that was versus K-Lou, but this Smith-Boston matchup is going to be fun
today. And this month is...
It's such an incredible display.
The Olympic, when we do have an Olympic year, that's what has been happening.
Back at it with another.
Now Xander Lucini
on a 4-point play.
Xander Lucini, Lynx fans certainly remember her when she signed quarter of the season. How do you get her going?
Because they are just going to go swarm on that inside.
Center. Xander Lucini got it. In and out. Dorka. 7-0 so far in this quarter, and
she saw Lexi Hall's.
Carlton just needs that. Xander Lucini halfway down.
And not to slide.
Now on Melissa, she is Miami native. Okay, now. So the defense has been tenacious on her. Mitchell left open until usually Smith doing everything.
Twice, even though they're not primarily guarding one another.
That's Smith. Nice attack at the basket. Elite. Smith steals. Caitlin, nope. Aaliyah Boston gets it out to Uhas, who puts it in. Samuelson to Clark, who couldn't catch up. Smith screen, who asked for the ball back. She gets it, and
Indiana will retain possession with 18 seconds on the shot clock.
There's just not conclusive evidence to overturn it. I don't know.
Match your points today. Clark behind.
This game pretty evenly played from both teams with the way that they shoot the three-point ball.
Turnover for today.
So much of that.
Nice pin away.
All right, there we go.
Getting better. McBride dying for Clark. McBride gets the tech. Free throw to go. And Caitlin Clark's parents in the crowd. They are from West Des Moines, Iowa. Denver threes.
I mean, I was just about to say that, PBZ. The percentage is sick.
Oh. Grab the Clark miss. Caitlin 1 of 8 from 3. Make it 1 of 9. Dantas saved it, but they need a shot. Wheeler. And it stays with Indiana, at least
on the wrist.
Got one more game for you before the All-Star break, and it's going to be Indiana. So Enrique and the Wings, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN.
The championship stage was set, the crowd roaring with anticipation, and every player on the court knew this was the moment they had been fighting for all season. Under the bright lights, the Indiana Fever and the Minnesota Lynx stepped onto the hardwood ready for battle. 2 teams, 1 trophy, and no room for mistakes. Caitlin Clark's sharp focus said it all, while Napheesa Collier's determined glare promised a fight to the very last second. From the very first possession, it was clear this game wasn't just going to be a battle for the title. It was going to be a war of willpower, skill, and heart. The opening minutes exploded with energy as the Fever came out swinging, pushing the ball at the floor and striking first with a quick jumper. Their defense was just as fierce, trapping ball handlers and forcing rush shots from the Lynx. But Minnesota refused to back down, responding with a sharp three-pointer that sent their fans into a frenzy. Every possession felt like a statement, with Indiana driving hard to the rim and Minnesota answering with precision shooting. The pace was relentless, the intensity undeniable, and the tone was set for a championship clash that neither side was willing to let slip away. Midway through the first quarter, the momentum began to swing as the Lynx capitalized on a pair of Indiana turnovers, turning them into quick points on the other end. A slick steal at half-court led to an easy layup, and moments later, a deep three found nothing but net, igniting a roar from the Minnesota bench. Suddenly, the Fever found themselves on the back foot, struggling to regain control of the tempo. But instead of panicking, Indiana tightened their defense, forcing contested shots and slowing the run just enough to keep the gap manageable. As the buzzer sounded to end the quarter, the scoreboard told a story of a battle still very much up for grabs. The second quarter saw the Fever come out with renewed determination, moving the ball with precision and creating open looks. A quick burst of scoring from Indiana's bench provided the spark they needed, with a smooth mid-range jumper followed by a perfectly timed cut to the basket for an easy finish. The Lynx tried to respond with their inside game, but foul trouble began to creep in, sending the Fever to the free throw line for valuable points. Each possession became a chess match, Indiana attacking gaps in the defense, Minnesota countering with disciplined ball movement. As the half ticked away, the Fever's rhythm grew stronger, chipping away at a deficit and setting the stage for an intense battle after the break. As the halftime buzzer echoed through the arena, the scoreboard reflected just how razor-close this championship battle had been so far. The Fever had clawed their way back into the fight, trimming the lead to just a handful of points, thanks to sharp shooting and relentless defense. Caitlin Clark was already making her presence felt with pinpoint passing and timely buckets, while Napheesa Collier anchored the Lynx with her all-around dominance. The crowd was electric, split between hope and anxiety, knowing the second half would decide everything. And if the first two quarters were any indication, the next 20 minutes promised to be nothing short of a war for the crown. The third quarter opened with both teams trading blows like heavyweight fighters, each refusing to give the other an inch. The Fever struck first with a deep three, answered almost immediately by a strong post move from the Lynx. Every trip down the floor felt like a must-score possession, with Caitlin Clark weaving through defenders for crafty finishes and Collier powering her way to the rim on the other end. The pace was blistering, the crowd feeding off every shot, every steal, every block. Neither side could pull away. Whenever one team grabbed a slight edge, the other stormed right back. By the time the quarter neared its end, the game was a deadlock, and the tension in the building. The final quarter began with the air thick with tension, every dribble echoing like a drumbeat toward destiny. Both teams tightened their defense, forcing contested shots and diving for every loose ball as if the championship itself was rolling across the hardwood. The Fever leaned on Caitlin Clark's poise, her ability to create space and sink tough jumpers, keeping Indiana in the fight. The Lynx answered with Collier's relentless drives and key offensive rebounds, refusing to let momentum slip away. The lead swung back and forth, sometimes changing hands on consecutive possessions. Every foul, every free throw, every whistle drew gasps from crowd. With under 2 minutes remaining, neither side had blinked, and the stage was set for a finish that will be remembered for years. The final 60 seconds were nothing short of chaos and magic rolled into one. With the score tied, Indiana worked the clock before Clark drove hard to the rim, drawing a foul and calmly sinking both free throws to take a slim lead. The Lynx wasted no time responding. Collier powered inside for a quick basket, knotting the game once more. With the crowd on its feet and the tension at its peak, the Fever called a timeout to draw up the final play. The ball found Clark's hands again, and with just seconds left, she launched a deep, contested three that sailed through the net as a buzzer sounded. The arena erupted, half in pure joy, half in stunned silence. The championship was decided in a single, unforgettable shot that as the final shots echo faded, and the scoreboard confirmed Indiana's victory. The Fever bench exploded onto the court in a wave of pure jubilation. Players embraced, some laughing, others overcome with tears, knowing they had just etched their names into championship history. Caitlin Clark was mobbed by teammates, her clutch performance cementing her place as a night's undisputed hero. On the other side, the Lynx showed true sportsmanship, offering handshakes and heartfelt congratulations despite the heartbreak of coming so close. The crowd roared in celebration and admiration, united in the knowledge that they had just witnessed one of the greatest finishes in WNBA Championship history, and so, the Indiana Fever closed out the season as champions, defeating the Minnesota Lynx in a game that will be talked about for generations. The final score told only part of the story. It was the grit, the resilience, and the never-say-die spirit that defined this battle. Caitlin Clark's clutch performance and the Fever's relentless teamwork proved too much for a determined Lynx squad that fought until the very last second. Both teams left everything on the court, giving fans a finale worthy of the championship stage. As the confetti fell and the celebrations began, one truth was undeniable. This was more than just a win. It was a legacy-defining moment for the Indiana Fever.